giving a shoot to what it's like to come off of Mineral Sprins Mountain after a little winter storm. Hopefully it's not too bad. Looks like we had a truck come by a little while ago. One of the ice salt trucks. At least I hope so. I'm in second gear right now, just going slow as I can, kind of letting it roll off the hill. I'm shooting with my GoPro Hero3 in 1440p at 48 frames per second. I've got my GoPro hanging upside down, so I've got the video. Actually, you can turn the video upside down in the camera. A little setting so that it shoots upside down. So the GoPro is now hanging upside down. I won't have to rotate it or anything. And it's hanging from my windshield, kind of right beside to the left of my rear view mirror. You can buy little mounts that you can just put adhesive and put it on the windshield and do this kind of shot. I'm trying to be real careful here. It is icy still. Try to respect this ice. I got to get to work this morning. Pretty up here. It's wonderful to live on Mineral Sprins Mountain. You know, probably the only downside is in the winter. It can be hazardous up here. I'm going into my third year living up here, and it can be a little heinous. I'm going to first gear just to be really careful down here at the bottom. It can be a little tricky coming off here. Looks like they've salted the road pretty good, but there's some curves down here you got to really respect. Looks like they've done a good job maybe this time. It does look like it's still maybe a little icy in places here. I'm going to go real slow and hope somebody doesn't like run up behind me. Back to my little GoPro. I think this makes a great little dash cam if I were going through some really super scenic place, you know, drive through. I think this would be a great thing to have. I've even thought about buying another one that I could mount over on the side, on maybe my door side, or either door side really, and get the left and right views. You could have 3 cameras going at once and edit it together, you know, your shots if you're going down a real scenic highway. This is the curve that is pretty dangerous sometimes. Looks like everything's in good shape this morning. Praise the Lord, that's awesome. But it can be pretty darn slick. We had a snowstorm last night. This is January the 18th, 2013. And I don't think it developed into quite what they thought it was going to be, but it was pretty bad anyway. A lot of rain, so we got a lot of moisture in the ground. Unless it dries out really good today, it may have some hazardous weather tonight. I like shooting with this GoPro at 48 frames per second because you can really stop the action on any frame. When I'm doing the YouTube outputs, you have to factor it down to 30 frames a second. I don't think YouTube, at least at this point, will allow faster frame rates than 30 frames a second. But what's cool is you can slow this video down, or you can stop some frames, and there's a lot less blur than there would be if you're shooting in 30 frames per second. The 1440p is kind of an interesting size to me. I may just display this at 1080p and let the other, what 1440p is it's actually 1080p that is, I mean, in other words, still 1920 pixels wide, 1920 pixels wide, but you go 1440 rather than 1080. So it's a 4:3 aspect rather than a, what is it, 16:9. It's what your regular 1080p is. The thing that's kind of cool about that is if you want to show more pixels top and bottom, if you want to see more of the road or more of the sky, more of what's up above, then you'd shoot probably in this 1440p. I'm also shooting what's called the Pro Tune setting. Pro Tune allows you to get a lot better color depth and everything. You can edit it and change your saturation, your brightness, your contrast, all your little subtle settings a lot better in the Pro Tune video, but it's much larger. So this is going to be a big old video when I get to work. I heard there was a bad wreck up here somewhere. Maybe it was behind me somewhere. A fella got killed last night, I think. Hit by a semi-truck or something. I don't know if you've seen him. Let's see where that happened or not. I'm going west toward Morganton. The mountain there off to the left, just behind the trees now, is High Peak. communication towers and things for the Morganton area up there. The road looks really in good shape. I-40. It was kind of precarious last night as I drove home. Real heavy rain, big old flakes of snow mixed in with it. So it was kind of nasty last night. The skies cleared up, just beautiful this morning. So this is kind of winter in Burke County, really at kind of its worst. If anybody's thinking about moving to Burke County, particularly maybe if one of our doctors, prospective doctors, is thinking about coming to work at the hospital, or thinking about coming here, you don't have to deal with really bad winter. I-40 is generally, I've only, in gee whiz, I guess 23, 24 years of living down here in the valley, I've only seen I-40 in really bad shape maybe half a dozen times, and that doesn't last for long. You just don't have a whole lot of really bad weather. From time to time you might get 6-8 inches of snow, but it usually is gone pretty quick. Ice can sometimes be a problem. When you're shooting in protein with this camcorder, your only option, I think, is wide field of view. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing sort of a fisheye lens effect. That's because I think in protein at 1440p, 48 frames a second, it only allows you to shoot in the wide mode, which I think looks pretty nice. I like getting that big field of view. And that's one of the things I really totally dig about the Hero 3 is the field of view. Now you can't zoom in with it. There's not a zoom on the camera. And the only zoom is you as you move forward through the world. But that's kind of cool for things like this, for a little video blog, and for travel and stuff like that. That's fine. I'm going to take my standard camcorder. I usually use Canon HFS 200 or HFS 100. I think I have a HF30 also. I think that's what it's called. But I use those for projects where I need narrow field of view, really superior color and video, and the ability to zoom and zoom in and out. I typically shoot 30 frames per second progressive when I'm doing those projects. But I do like the high frame rates I'm able to get. I can shoot 1080p at 60 frames a second, no problem. I can shoot 720p at 120 frames per second. And I can shoot in standard definition at up to 240 frames per second with this little camcorder. And that is pretty sweet. So you can get a lot of nice slow motion effects shooting at those high frame rates. You can slow it all down and the video looks smooth and pretty interesting. Bethel Road, that's a back way you can get into where Grace Hospital is if you want to go that way and cut back down on one of the little side roads here. If you're wanting to go get quickly to work though, you stay on I-40. And we got to slow down here for construction. About the place where I work, Blue Ridge Healthcare, Grace Hospital's here, Valdese Hospital behind me, where we're kind of close to where we started our little video. Fantastic, good people, good healthcare services, a little bit of a commercial for where I work, good people for sure, and we just got a new CEO, Kathy Bailey, and I think exciting times are ahead for us. Today I'm going to shoot a video with our departing CEO and President, Kenneth W. Wood. And it should be nice. Ken's going to unveil a portrait, a painted portrait of Ken. And he really likes Western things. They've had a artist out west do a painting for Ken and one of his friends, and we're going to see how that turned out. Ken is a cowboy in a painting. McDonald's over there is a great place to get your breakfast. And here we are at Grace Hospital. I also work for Cleveland County Healthcare System at this point. Do websites for them and videos and anything else they need me to do of a graphic nature. We're building new bridges. This is a new bridge that's open. You can see the cat over there. That's clearing out for the other side. We actually have 2 bridges set up here so that emergency vehicles can get up and down quickly. This side I'm up here now will be 2 lanes going up eventually when I get the other bridge fixed. And here is Grace Hospital. Nice wide view of it. Looks like they've got it closed, maybe got the ramp closed. I have to use emergency entrance this morning. I guess it's because of ice. And we've made it to work another day. I'm going to go up on the hill because I have some stuff to unload. Usually I park in the parking deck there. That's the marketing department over on the left under those awnings. That's what it looks like when you get here. And that's the end of our little GoPro test of the day. Snow, a winter's day in Burke County.